Today's Double Deck Tech demonstrates definitively which degenerate does the dog derive from, or which commander got that dog in him. That's right, today's is a Double Deck Tech from commenter Vindy Swartz asking to make a commander deck with dogs. Well, I didn't know if they wanted a dog commander or a deck that makes dogs, so I made both and you all can determine for yourself which one you would like to play more. One deck is a mono-white Voltron strategy focusing on Isamaru, Hound of Konda, Magic's goodest boy for the longest time, using recent cards to get the most mileage out of Magic's OG DOGG to push for the win. On the flip side, we have a recent commander that spams out cats and dogs like a 2001 family comedy, God, I'm old, or flings felines and dishes out dogs like that one Simpsons character. Jinnie Fay, Jetmir's second, looks to take the tokens that you make and just give you dogs instead. I mean, you could make cats, but we're going to focus on dogs for this deck tech. Before we dive into the decks, be sure to comment and subscribe. It goes a long way to supporting the channel, and with that out of the way, it's time to answer the age-old question. Let the dogs out! Let's kick it off with Isamaru, Hound of Konda. This deck is a straightforward classic Voltron strategy. Also, very few things feel better than a turn 1 commander. We are looking to get down our aggressive game plan early to assure our opponents
it don't bite.
Yes, it don't! But this deck also has something you can do that I think is kind of funny. Starting out with our creatures, we have Resolute Watchdog, a Selfless Savior, Loyal Warhound, Pack Leader. Skycrier is not the best, but it is a way to draw cards, so we take it. Spirited Companion is a good boy, so he obviously needs a spot in the deck. SRAM, Senior Edificer, is one of the best card draw pieces because of the R's and equipment we play. Arden, Intrepid Archaeologist, lets us get around pesky equipment cost, letting our dogs get all gussied up to swing, which could catch some opponents off guard. Aben, Mind Sensor. Bastion Protector gives our commander a little boost and indestructible. Brass Squire, again, helps us dodge equipment costs like an overeager dog catcher. Danitha Compassion Paragon also does a phenomenal job of giving us discounts. Helioid's Pilgrim can get us an aura we need. Rumor Gatherer. Starnheim Corsair again is for getting the most out of our mana. And lastly, Iron Mastiff is our ace in the hole if Isamaru gets removed too much. This pup can pack a real punch, suiting him up with all our equipments and then swinging. This can affect even the players we aren't swinging at. Now that we've released the hounds, let's move on to our instants. Boon of Safety. That's it. Okay, on to our sorceries. Lay Down Arms, Open the Armory, Patch Up, Divine Reckoning, Single Combat, Slash the Ranks, and Brilliant Restoration. Time for some treats in the artifacts. Explorer Scope to help grab planes. We are in white and on a budget, so we take what we can get. Golem Skin Gauntlets, Masterwork of Ingenuity to copy our really powerful equipment. Onaganata, Prying Blade for treasure and to boost things that care about artifacts. Wayfarer's Bauble, Black Blade Reforged can have our dog dealing serious damage. Goldvein Pick again helps us on our mana and our things that give us bonuses for artifacts. Hero's Heirloom, Inquisitor's Flail, Mask of Memory for draw, Rogue's Gloves for more draw, Swiftfoot Boots, a staple for Voltron decks. Thran Power Suit not only gives protection, but also gives a significant power boost. Fire Shrieker, Haunted Cloak, Loxodon Warhammer, Maul of the Skyclaves, Plate Armor, Srata Scythe, and Argentum Armor acts as a bit of key removal since we are so heavy in artifacts and enchantments. Speaking of enchantments, we have Griff's Boon, Hyena Umbra, Paladin Class, Rafine's Guidance, Sentinel's Eyes. All That Glitters is one of our best payoffs, making Isamaru massive. Conviction, Spirit Mantle, protection from creatures means it's easy to get through blockers. Battle Mastery, Duelist Heritage can not only help us out, but if our opponents swing at each other, I mean, why not give one or both of them double strike? Face of Divinity, Flaming Fist, Unquestioned Authority, Angelic Exaltation, Armored Ascension, flying and a huge boost, what's not to love? Holy Mantle, Sage's Reverie, one of our best pieces of card draw if our opponents don't answer when our dog barks. Mammoth Umbra, and Rabble Rousing. It's got Hideaway and makes us more creatures to help with the Angelic Exaltation. Lastly, the lands. Myriad Landscape and 34 Plains. Moving on to something a little more modern, if you're looking to lead an army of canines to decimate your enemies, look no further than Jinnie Fay, Jetmir's second. This commander looks to take tokens and turn them into cats or dogs. Any tokens, doesn't matter, so this Naya deck focuses on making as many tokens as we can. This does include an infinite combo using the Ivy Lane Oak combo, but I'll cover that when we get to it. For creatures, we have Gala Greeters. Kari Zev, Skyship Raider, who is great for the early game, hard to block in the mid game with Menace, and with Jinnie out, that monkey token becomes a dog that sticks around. Pack Leader, 3/1 dogs are great, but 4/2 dogs are better. Tilonali's Summoner turns any excess mana into more tokens. Young Peasy! Bogarden Hellkite helps with another infinite combo in the deck. Kadira, Caller of the Small, turns your tokens into more tokens. Champion of Lamholt not only can get ridiculously big, but helps us get in for damage. Feline Sovereign, though synergizes more with the cats than the dogs. Enchantments and artifact removal can't be understated. Grumgully the Generous will have us growing our animal army. Rishkar Pima Renegade turns tokens with counters on them into mana. Scurry Oak is one half of the 2-card infinite combo. Skullwinder, though it helps one of our opponents, if a graveyard has just been removed, then they get nothing. Witty Roastmaster is our budget impact trimmers. Bloodspore Thrynax, with enough tokens to feed to its devour cost, we can start making massive dog tokens. Cemetery Protector, Ivy Lane Denizen puts the Ivy in the Ivy Oak combo by putting a counter on Scurry Oak. We make a squirrel token, which will trigger the Denizen again, letting us put another counter on the Scurry Oak and make another squirrel token. Continue this process until you've made enough tokens, dealt enough damage, or have a big enough creature to close out the game. With Witty Roastmaster, you can take out the whole board without ever swinging. Or if you have your commander out, turn those tokens into cats with haste, swing out, and GG. Renata, Called to Hunt, helps our counter synergies. Valor will give our 3/1 Vigilant dogs first strike, making them even more potent attackers or blockers. Boss's Chauffeur can get big, but can also cash out a ludicrous amount of tokens. Requiem Angel gives us an interesting bit of interaction by turning our tokens into spirits, which Jinnie will turn into cats or dogs, letting us once again use the Angel's ability when they die. Moving right along to our sorceries, Sylvan Offering, possibly one of the best token makers if we have the mana for it. Rampant Growth, Regrowth. Sunset Revelry, Indulge in Excess for massive amounts of mana. Search for Tomorrow, Thatcher Revolt. Circuitous Route, Fungal Sprouting. With the right creatures out, this can be a game ender. Migration Path, SRAM's Expertise, Escape the Wild, Visions of Glory. Double up on those tokens. Mouth to Feed, our dogs are all 3 mana or more, so we will be drawing a lot of cards. Instants bring even more tokens to the table with Artifact Mutation, Aura Mutation, Contraband Livestock. Path to Exile and Swords to Plowshares are expensive, so this is cheap removal. Rite of Harmony, on a big token turn, will draw us a lot of cards. Thrill of Possibility, Verdant Command, March of the Multitudes. Since our dogs have vigilance, it's easy for us to swing with them on the turn before we use them to convoke this for a lot more tokens. Rith's Charm can save us, destroy a land, or make some tokens if we need it. White Sun Zenith, big score. Entrapment Maneuver is both removal and a token generator. Release to Memory, with all kinds of decks taking advantage of the graveyard, you have to pack a little removal nowadays. And Unexpected Windfall. Artifacts bring ramp, protection, and sacrifice effects so we can crack creatures when we need them and not rely on our opponents. Felwar Stone, Horn of Valhalla can make us tokens, but it can also help us go tall if we need it. Commander Sphere, Darksteel Ingot, Scepter of Celebration to really drive our token theme home, and Demon Mail Halberg. For enchantments, Song of Freyalise turns tokens into mana dorks, and once the last counter goes off, works possibly as a game ender. Daring Piracy, Goblin Assault. Invigorating Hot Springs, a great way to take advantage of our counter sub-theme to give our dogs haste. Master Chef. Elemental Mastery to dump even more tokens onto the board. One with the Kami, and Outpost Siege to really inflict damage of our opponent's board wipes. We run one Planeswalker in Chandra, Acolyte of Flame, to make even more tokens, but in a pinch, give us some single reuse of one of our 3 mana instants or sorceries. Lastly, our lands. This is a 3-color deck, but also Jinnie Fay can be played for 3 green, so getting her out should be simple. The biggest thing I want to emphasize about the deck, choose carefully when you cast Jinnie. She is a removal magnet, and though the deck can function without her at the helm, you need her to get the most bang for your token buck. But with that being said, back to the lands. Boros Guildgate, Cabaretti Courtyard, Canopy Vista, Cinderglade, Command Tower, Exotic Orchard, Gruul Guildgate, Selesnya Guildgate, Thriving Grove, 11 Forests, 8 Mountains, and 8 Plains. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this double dog deck tech. Leave a comment for your favorite card or a commander you would like to see built, and I'll see you in the next one.